I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're diving deep into the riveting tale of transformation and hope in TP3 Joy by Michael Basenese. Discover how overcoming excess and embracing change can lead not only to success, but to a fulfilling life. Michael's journey from the brink of destruction to profound self-discovery has captivated readers around the globe, making TP3 Joy a beacon of inspiration for anyone seeking a meaningful life turnaround. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his important book. The links are below this interview. Michael, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you, Logan. It's an honor and privilege to be here. And I always am so joyful and grateful to share my testimony because Jesus saved me from me. And as you so eloquently explained, the reason for my book, I was headed on a path of self-destruction. And I was in a downward spiral. He reached out, grabbed me, and changed me from the inside out.
Was there a pivotal moment in your journey from living in excess to finding this deeper purpose in life?
Yes, there were three defining moments in my life, Logan, that I describe in the book. This is very emotional for me every time I tell it. I can feel the goosebumps on my neck and arms, but it's all good because it serves to remind me of the person I once was. Completely different than I am today. I grew up in New Jersey, son of a tough Italian Catholic and a loving Baptist mother. She taught me about Jesus. My father taught me about God, family, country, and he told me to be accountable and responsible. So I had good upbringing. My problem was pride. I was full of myself. God blessed me with talent. I always thought I was the toughest and smartest guy in the room until he told me and showed me I was not. So what had happened? When I graduated college, I went into business and I did very well. And the more success I had, the more I wanted. The more money I made, the more I wanted. But I had this void, this emptiness in myself, and I couldn't figure out what it was. So I developed some very bad habits, living in excess, as you said. I would travel, entertain, go out to dinners. You know, when I graduated from college, I was 220 pounds. I was an athlete, football player, wrestler. And then when I started traveling, I put on a few pounds every year. And it was easy to do because it was a great lifestyle, you know. Big dinners, wine, entertaining customers, getting to know one another. And then it got out of control. I would come home on a Friday night. Instead of going home, I would stop at a neighborhood bar and see my friends. And before I knew it, the next thing I knew, I'm walking through the door at 3 or 4 in the morning. And the first defining moment, God, this grips me, but I opened the door to the house, and there was my beautiful bride, Colleen. I call her Kyle. That's her nickname. My name is Michael, but my nickname is Max. And in the book, I described the various nicknames I have, and it's pretty funny. Some of them complimentary, some not. But anyway, back to the first defining moment. When I opened the door and she was sitting there, I could tell she was upset. Tears are running down her face. She was flushed, and she said, "Max, I can't do this anymore. I didn't know if you were home, if you were dead, alive. Where were you? You were supposed to be home at 8 o'clock. You were coming in from Los Angeles. I didn't know what was going on." And I started profusely apologizing, which was getting nowhere. He said, "Look, we need to chat." I said, "Okay, Kyle." He said, "No, you're coming with me. You're going to sit down, shut up, and listen." Well, she had my immediate attention. And Okay, so we walked into the kitchen, into the dining room, sat down. I had two dreams last night because I couldn't fall asleep worrying about where you were. I said, I understand. Don't even apologize. Let me finish. I said, okay. She said, the first dream I had, I got up out of bed. I walk down the hallway and I look out the front window and I see your car in the driveway. I said, well, he's home, so let me walk out. She walks out, looks into the car. There I am, passed out, drunk over the steering wheel. So she breathed a sigh of relief. She said, well, let me let him sit there, sleep it off. At least I know he's home. So she turns around and went around the front of the car and she jumps up and screams, Max, what have you done? So what? There in front of your grill was our neighbor's son on his bike, dead. You ran him over. You don't remember that? And I start crying. I'm sweating. I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And she saw the look of despair on my face and she said, look, Max, it was a dream. Oh, so she says dream. I'm thinking, oh, I dodged the bullet. I'm home free. So she saw the look of relief come over my face and she said, sit down. The second dream is going to rock your world. Okay, Carl, okay. Back then we would entertain. I loved to cook. I'd make a big Italian meal with pasta, meatballs, sausage, braciole, bread, and salad. And of course, the wine was flowing. And there in the middle of it was yours truly, telling his stories and jokes, entertaining everybody. So Colleen is perusing the outside of the dining table, and she sees family and friends. And then she sees me. And then she jumps up. So what's the matter, Carl? There sitting next to you is your cousin Ralph. I said, that's impossible. Ralph passed away. That's right, Max. He passed away 2 years ago. He died from stage 4 cancer. Now, Ralph was like my little brother. We grew up across the street from one another. Where I was, he was in tow. If I had a wrestling match, he was there. If I had a football game, he was there. Baseball game, he was there. If we wanted to go swimming or fishing on the lake across the street, he was with me. When he died, a part of me died. And she said, this is what happened, Max. I looked at Ralph and I said, Ralph, are you here for me? Without saying a word, he just shook his head. He said, are you here for Max? He nods his head up and down. With that, he jumps up and he points his finger at me and says, you need to get Max to change. Change now, because he is heading for destruction. He will burn in hell if he does not change. I dropped to my knees. I cried out, Jesus, save me. And all of a sudden, I felt this warm, comforting feeling that only comes from the gift of salvation and forgiveness. That's what God blesses you with. Now, let me tell you what blessing means. Jesus describes blessing as the deepest, most profound sense of joy and hope that you can ever experience outward of your circumstance. So no matter where you are, what you've done, once you reach out and ask for Jesus to come into your life, this comes over you. You can't help it. And Logan, once you get it, you never want to lose it. That's the feeling. That's the profound happiness and joy I felt. So that was defining moment number one. The second one happened in 2021. And this was another emotional moment because I suffered a very severe propane explosion. Mm-hmm. I had a bad habit of, not a bad habit, good thing, living in Southwest Florida with the weather we have. At the end of the day, Colleen would come home from work. She worked at Hertz at corporate headquarters. I work at home in my office. So I loved to grill. I would grill something, and then we go out in the lanai and we have conversation, talk about the day, current events. And I had this habit of leaving the grill up to let it cool, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. But the bad habit I developed, I would not shut the main valve off. I would leave it on and turn the knobs on the grill off. So the next morning I get up, I see the hood open. I said, oh, that's right, got to shut the hood. So I open the slider. I immediately smell this strong odor of propane. And I'm thinking, this is not good. So there's the grill. Top is open, doors are open. So I know what I have to do. But instead of shutting the main valve off, I go to the knob. I turn the left knob. I heard it click, breathed a sigh of relief. That shut off. I immediately went to touch the right button, and all of a sudden, it exploded. I was engulfed in this blue, yellow flame. All I could smell was burning hair, skin. I looked down at my legs, and I won't describe what I saw, but it's heart-wrenching. You can see the pictures in the book. And I thought I was going to pass out. I didn't know if I was going into shock. Again, I yell out, Jesus, save me. And all of a sudden, the flame on my legs go out. And I look down, I'm burned from chest to my legs, my arms, because the hair was burned. The hair on my head was singed. And I feel my face, and I'm fine. And I'm thinking, how can this be? I said, that's the hand of God. That's a miracle. That's a miracle that I wasn't killed during that explosion. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah.
I was right in front of the grill, hunched down in the middle of the propane when it ignited. So I knew what I had to do. I'm only a few miles from the emergency room at the hospital. So my legs were burning. There was so much pain, it was excruciating. So I jumped in the shower. The cool water cooled off my legs. I felt relief. So I drove myself to the hospital. I pull up to the emergency room. I no sooner get out, and the emergency staff comes running out. They're looking at me, so they start yelling, we have a burn victim, burn victim. Immediately, the doctor on staff comes out, get him into the open emergency room. He does. He says, Michael, you've got a bad burn here. He said, I just want you to relax. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to clearly tell you what we're going to do. It's going to be a painful process, but number one, we have to remove the dead skin from your leg. And the only way we can do that is we're going to take sanitary wet cloths and actually scrape the skin off. I said, okay, doctor. He said, but before we do that, I strongly suggest you take this pain medication. Logan, I don't know why, but I declined it.
Mm-hmm.
It comes to me later. He said, are you sure? And I could see his staff behind him. I mean, they're crying. They're nodding their heads up and down. I said, no, doctor, I'm fine. He said, okay. So they go through the process. And the pain was more excruciating than the propane burn. I never felt anything like it. I immediately knew going through this process that God wanted me to tell this story for two reasons. Number one, the power of his salvation and the joy of forgiveness. But there is a hell, and I only caught a glimpse of it. But the worst feeling of being in pain from the burn was this uncomfortable uneasiness, emptiness that returned to me. And that is the separation of God forever, forever. So I immediately knew what I had to do. So the doctor finishes the process. He says, Michael, I'm going to go call Kendall Burn Unit. He said, you need to see a burn surgeon. He has to do an assessment. Now it's the Thursday before Thanksgiving week. I'm going to get you in as soon as I can. So he came back a few minutes later, and I could tell by the look on his face, it was not good. He said, Michael, he said, the soonest I can get in is the Monday after Thanksgiving. He said, but here's the good news. Our staff is going to dress you. We're going to put Silverdine ointment on your leg. We're going to wrap it in gauze and then tape you up. And then you'll be able to go home. You don't touch the dressing. You may see some secretion, orange, yellow, maybe a little blood. But as long as you don't feel pain or a lot of blood, you're fine. and then you're going to go to the burn unit the Monday after Thanksgiving. I said, okay. So I get up, looking like the mummy and walking like Frankenstein. I walk out to my car, and I was able to drive. Again, gift from God. So I got home safely. I opened the door, and there's Colleen sitting in the kitchen at the counter. She looks up, and I could tell she's crying. Are you all right? What happened? So I didn't want her to see the doubt and the pain I was feeling. Immediately put her at ease, started cracking jokes. Finally, a smile came over. I said, Kyle, we're going to be fine. We're going to celebrate Thanksgiving. We got family and friends coming in. Looking forward to it. So that being said, the Monday comes, 6 o'clock in the morning. We have to leave the house here in Naples at 3. It's a 2.5-hour ride. So I go over to Kendall. We pull up, and Colleen says, Max, said, would you mind if I didn't go in? I said, no, Carl, I think I know why. He says, I don't know if I could handle seeing people like you. Yeah. That's fine, Carl. I get it. Wait in the lobby. So I went in. I go to the burn unit, and there's the receptionist, completely empty. And she says, Michael Basenese? I said, yes, that's me. We've been waiting for you. I said, okay. Immediately go in. I meet the burn surgeon, and him and his staff removed the dressings from my legs. And I could tell by the look on his face, he said, son, you really did a number here. I know you have 1st and 2nd degree burns. He said, you may have 3rd degree burns. The only thing we can do at this point, we're going to schedule you for a series of skin grafts, because we're going to take the skin from your upper legs, thighs, and transplant it. But before we do that, we're going to remove the dressing, and we're going to apply cadaver skin, because that'll give you a chance to heal. And then we're going to schedule surgery for the following Monday. You come back, we'll take the cadaver skin off, and then do the surgery. Okay, doctor.
Max, I'm sorry, I need to stop you there.
Sure.
We're running out of time. It's an incredible story, folks, as you can hear, as Max tells his story. It's all within the book and more, a lot more. It's called TP3 Joy. It tells Michael's story. It's a story of hope, transformation, and redemption. It is a story that'll help you get your life right with our Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ, as Michael did with his life. And it's probably good we left the folks at home wondering what happened with your leg, because that'll be the cliffhanger. The book is below. You can see the link and order a copy. It's an amazing book. Michael, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, Logan. I just want to leave your listeners with one thought. Everybody has a story to tell. I implore you to tell yours, okay? Because God wants 3 things from us. He loves you unconditionally. He wants to shower you with love and blessings. And he wants you to share your testimony. You do that, and will change your life. God bless you, Logan. God bless you, everybody. Thank you for your time.
God bless you, Michael. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.